Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Call of the Night Season 2 episode number 4 reaction. Alright, the previous episode, it was a crazy episode. First and foremost, we got to know that the vampires, their weakness is something that they had in their previous life as a human, and the more they find it precious, the more it is connected to memories, yeah, the more dangerous it is for them. So, Anko came in and almost took out Akun using the glass that he had a lot of memories with the girl. But then by the end of it, like Haska and all of them was able to stop her, and Anko retreated momentarily, and now she's like, I'm going to come back later and be ready this time properly. So yeah, that's the big thing. So now all the vampires have decided to figure out like their past things, any kind of memento or whatever, and destroy them so that Anko cannot get hands on them. Nazuna doesn't remember anything about her past. That's the thing. And now obviously we have Ko trying to help out Nazuna to figure out, and they end up finding some clues and going to a hospital where Kabura, right? That's the name of the girl, right? She is a nurse. Turns out she might have some information, so like Ko like directly asked her for help, while she said that if I help you, you need to do something for me. That's where it ended. So let's see what we need to do for her, and like what type of information we get in this episode. Let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's get started. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. So okay, that'll help. Oh, oh, that's why the dress. End of third floor. Yeah. Oh my god, Nazuna's gonna freak out. Here we are. Well, she was hinting that there's something in there. Otherwise, why would she say that? Yeah, that's why she was like, oh, by the way, don't go there. Hmm. Like by saying that, oh, you should keep an eye on that room, do not go there. She was kind of hinting there's something in there, so go at your own risk or something like that. Hmm. Alright, the blood packs. They're just ready to suck on, I guess. Hmm. Oh, there you go. Hmm. Okay, wait a minute. I so there's a possibility Nazuna is older. Yeah. Yeah, it's a god damn it. Go. Yeah, you're talking about, oh my god. She has a lot of knowledge about V and erogaze and stuff. Bruh. Okay, like I was saying, Nazuna, there's a possibility she was older than Kabura. Yeah. So Nazuna, there's a possibility Nazuna was a nurse here. Dress like a nurse. Oh damn. Oh, that they're talking about Kabura. She's a vampire. She can do that. What are you on about? No, you literally did that while getting inside the. It's Kabura. Yeah, she's a vampire. She can go through walls and stuff. Hmm. Yeah, I think she wanted us to. Wait, what? Okay. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Okay. So. Hmm. Right. Personally, I think. Well, you're. No. Oh my god, come on. Yeah. I knew this was going to happen. Oh, wait, what happened? I was thinking she was going to, because she can just pass through walls. Right. No. Uh, God damn, that chair is so squeaky. It's. Yeah. Okay. What the heck? Yeah, what is that? Oh. Oh no! Eee. Okay. This might be connected to Nazuna's past. Maybe like some kind of a picture or something. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. I knew it. Wait, so Kabura turned. Oh yeah, that would make sense because Nazuna said that I like. Wait, what? No. Yeah. Oh no. Okay, never mind. Okay. Wait, is that not real? Yeah, I thought that. I thought that Nazuna turned Kabura. Wait, there you go. I literally said, oh, right. Okay. God damn it. Okay, I'm so confused. What's happening here? I genuinely thought she was Nazuna's offspring. Wait, what? Yeah, you're supposed to be the nurse, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. Right. Oh. Oh, so that she doesn't. Is that why she drinks the blood to remember, maybe? Because she doesn't want to forget her past, you know. So this is when she was a human, or is she a vampire here? Damn, Nazuna's voice was very different. Hmm. Tch, yeah. Wait, what's going on here? Okay, maybe this is not Nazuna because, like I said, the voice is very different. This is like her sister or something. Okay, so this is where they took the picture. Damn. Who the hell? Um, you didn't say. What? Right. That is fantastic. Didn't even bother to tell me. Um, yeah. She is always sick. Right. Yep. What is. Yeah, that is crazy. Wow, great friends. Oh, damn. Uh. Yeah. Oh, is that chair that she's sitting in? That she was sitting in? Yeah. Oh. Hmm. Where she prop out from? Okay, is this not Nazuna? I like I. Oh. Hmm. Yeah, you were literally saying no. Yeah, nah, man, I'm fine. Literally, she was. Is wasn't it them? They were saying that. Oh, I don't want to, like hang out with her. Good lord. Yeah, she's sick. What are you on about? What is going on? Okay, these. I don't understand why they're even trying to. Right. Damn. So she said all of the. Oh my god! Oh! Okay, so if she turns her into a vampire, then that is not Nazuna. Because she literally said no. Oh, what the hell? Red Moon? Okay, yeah. That is not Nazuna. Like, obviously, like, Haru, she named herself, called herself Haru. So, and while Nazuna is Nazuna, it was pretty obvious. But there was still a part of me that was thinking, maybe because of lost memories, she took a different name as Nazuna. But she literally said, no, you didn't turn me into a vampire. So that is not Nazuna. It's like Nazuna's sister or something, maybe? Like mother? Damn! Well, there you go, she became a vampire. She already loved her, so, it was instantaneous. Oh, damn. Oh, season 1 opening. No, season 1 song. Right. Yeah, alright, so there you go. I think I understand what's happening. So that's either Nazuna's mother, someone related to Nazuna. Because Nanakusa is common, Haru. So it's not Nazuna, but probably sister. Because, okay, you know what? I'll talk about it. Let the ending play out. There's a lot of things that was making me think of that. Because, number one, different name. Number two, but the name thing still I wasn't sure. Because, like I said, Nazuna don't remember anything about her past. So there was a part of me that was thinking maybe her name was Haru. But after becoming a vampire, she forgot that. So she took a name Nazuna. So the name thing wasn't still like a foolproof method of me thinking that, oh, that is not Nazuna. But there was one thing that I was thinking, which was that her voice is very different. So that was making me think this is not Nazuna. Another thing, as soon as they saw her bite her, Nazuna said that no, when Nazuna said that, oh, like maybe I turned you into a vampire, Kabra was like, no. So that is not Nazuna, which only means that is someone related to Nazuna. Something like that. But they look so similar. Like, okay, but like I said, yeah, like, you know what? It still hasn't been 100% confirmed if that was someone else, like Nazuna. Otherwise, what else would it be? Like, come on, like everything points in that direction. Like, like I said, there's so many things that, like the name is obviously the biggest thing. She's called Haru and Nazuna's called Nazuna. But still, there was a way of, like the whole name thing to kind of not be useful over here because Nazuna technically forgot everything about her life. So there is a high possibility whatever her name might be before she didn't remember. Oh no, but oh no, 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 wait. Now that I'm thinking about it, the name would also not make sense because she's already a vampire. Haru's already a vampire here. So the fact that yeah, okay, so there you go. That's also straight up. That is someone related to Nazuna. Like, I don't know why in my head I was thinking like, oh, since Nazuna doesn't remember anything about her past life, she has forgotten about her name. But if that's the case, it would make no sense because when she's calling her Haru, that's after she's already a vampire. So this is someone who's a vampire and who knows that her name is Haru. So this is not Nazuna. Never mind. Like, okay, so that is also out. So yeah, there you go. That is someone related to Nazuna. I don't know. In my head, I was thinking like, oh yeah, maybe that was her name before. But no, it would make no sense. Like if her name was Haru before, and after becoming a vampire, she forgot about it. She wouldn't call herself Haru here because she's already a vampire. Like that's the thing. So yeah, that's also out. So yeah, that is someone related to Nazuna. Like the thing is, the character called Haru looks literally the same as Nazuna. Even if you are her sister, can you look exactly the same? Like exactly the same. Like from height to facial expressions, hairstyle as well, kind of. How she smiles, how she talks, and like everything about her is exactly the same as Nazuna. Exactly the same. The only difference is her voice. Her voice is very different from Nazuna. That's the only difference. So, there was a good chunk of today's episode where I was thinking, is this Nazuna? Is this not Nazuna? Yeah, she did tell her name is Haru, but who knows what's going on. Right. So yeah. So it's like her sister or something, I'm assuming. Okay. So right, there you go. Now, so that brings the mystery to a close, kind of, because it makes sense why Kabura immediately recognized, not recognized, I would say, but asked Ko about Nazuna, and she was like, "Oh, how is Nazuna?" Something like that. So I'm assuming if that was Nazuna's sister or something, maybe Kabura met Nazuna, and so I do wonder where Haru is now. Probably not alive. Like, probably not alive. Yeah. Now you know what? Here's another thing I'm thinking. Have they mentioned it before? This is one thing I'm thinking about. Have they mentioned it that the love and affection that you feel for the other person to become a vampire, it has to be of the romantic type? Have they mentioned that ever before? Because if that is not the case, if it can be any type of love, then there's a high possibility Nazuna was turned into a vampire by her sister. Like I said, has there been a specification where that, oh no, the love that you have to, the love that you must feel for the other person has to be of the romantic kind. It cannot be of the familial type. Has there been that distinction? Has anyone said that in season 1? I cannot remember. Because love is there's lots of different forms of love. Romantic type and the familial type, obviously the main two. Oh, you love your sister, you love your mother, you love your father, that type of love. So can that love also make someone into a vampire? Because if that is the case, there is a high possibility that Nazuna's sister turned Nazuna into a vampire. I don't know, just something that I thought, that I'm thinking. Anyways, I guess we'll get all our answers little by little. But yeah, now there was a lot of other things that kind of threw me off in today's episode. For example, the information that Nazuna is supposed to be a woman at her 40s now. But then again, I kind of forgot that even if she is a woman at her 40s now, I kind of forgot that I literally talked about this in the previous episode, and after talking about it, I myself kind of completely slipped my mind. The fact that it's probably that your age freezes as soon as you become a vampire. So Nazuna here looks like she's probably like 18, 20 years old. Not more than that. She looks almost the same age as Ko, maybe a little bit older than Ko. A little bit older than Ko. That's it. But she said like, oh no, I'm a woman at my 40s now. So after becoming a vampire, there's probably like 20 to 25 years have passed. You know, and then that would kind of make sense, like why she said like, oh, I'm like in my 40s, because that would then everything like will fit in place then, because as soon as you become a vampire, I'm assuming, like they haven't really mentioned it, but I'm assuming as soon as you become a vampire, your aging stops, you know so if there's like a vampire, like 70-year-old vampire, like just like an old man, a vampire, that would probably mean that, oh, the old man became a vampire at the age of 70. Again, this is just an assumption. They haven't really explained about this or revealed anything about this. I'm just assuming that's the case, you know so yeah. And if that is the case, then that would mean Nazuna became a vampire at like 18, 20 years, so it would make no sense for her to be a nurse at that age, but like I said, I myself said that in the previous episode. I myself completely, it slipped my mind completely today, because I was thinking like, oh yeah, Nazuna is supposed to be a 40-year-old woman, so it would make sense for her to be a nurse here. But I completely forgot that no, when she probably became a vampire, she was like at 18 or 20 years age. Nobody's a nurse at that age, so it would not make sense for her to be a nurse here. Anyways, like all these things were kind of like, it kind of threw me off. And not throughout, but at least midway up until today's episode, midway up, like in today's episode, up until that time, I was under the impression that it's either Kabura who turned, like Nazuna into a vampire, or no, I was more under the impression that Nazuna turned Kabura into a vampire. Like, I guess I was kind of correct, because even if it's not Nazuna, it's probably someone related to Nazuna who turned into a vampire, but yeah, because like I said, I was thinking like a lot of things. For example, when they showed like that silhouette of that lady, who I thought was Nazuna at that time in that flashback little, I was like, oh wait, Nazuna was a nurse here? Again, like I said, it completely slipped my mind that Nazuna cannot be a nurse here, because when she became a vampire, she was probably like 18, 20 years old, so it is not possible in that way. So I was like, oh yeah, wait, Nazuna was the nurse over here. And as soon as I thought that, and I came under that mistaken impression, immediately I was thinking like, oh, then it would make sense for Kabura to be her patient, and Kabura liked Nazuna, and Nazuna turned Kabura into a vampire. Like I was correct. I was basically correct. The only wrong thing I was wrong at is that no, it's not Nazuna, it's someone related to Nazuna, like who turned Kabura into a vampire. And yeah, she was the nurse. So I was correct about everything in my head, at least, except the person in question, which is, I thought it was Nazuna. But like I said, like there's a lot of things that made me like misinterpret that, because I was like, oh yeah, she's a 40-year-old lady, so she can be a nurse. But no, like that's not possible, because she has been like at least like gaming for like 10, 20 years. When she literally said like, after I became a vampire, I woke up in that room and I just did nothing. I just did whatever, like played video games and all that, for like so many years before she met Ko. And so yeah, she was not a nurse. Like she was not like operating there as a nurse. If she was, then she would remember, because if she was a nurse, she would be a nurse after becoming a vampire. So her memory wouldn't be gone. So Nazuna would remember this place, but Nazuna doesn't remember the place. So all these things like kind of went out of my head, and I kind of like, so I was like, oh yeah, wait, it must be like Nazuna who turned Kabura into a vampire. And it's kind of funny, because Nazuna came to the same conclusion, and Nazuna said that, and and Kabura's like, no. And it's pretty funny, because I was also saying at that same time, I was also like, yeah, you're right, Nazuna, that's probably what happened. And as soon as I also said that, Kabura was like, no. And now that I'm thinking about it, and now I feel like if Nazuna also thinks about it, you'll realize the flaw in that theory is that if Nazuna's the one who turned Kabura into a vampire, why does she not remember it? She was already a vampire at that point of time, right? She should remember it. It's kind of funny, because I feel like Nazuna also didn't think about it. immediately she saw the picture and she came to the conclusion that, oh, yeah, I probably made her into a vampire. But come on, if you made her into a vampire, you should remember, right? Because you're already a vampire. Like, yeah, you will forget everything about your past life before when you were a human. But after you become a vampire, you remember everything, right? So if you turned her into a vampire, you should remember that. Like, I also didn't think about that, and it's pretty hilarious because Nazuna also didn't realize that and immediately jumped to the conclusion that, oh, I was the one who turned you into a vampire. But if you sit down and think about it, it's pretty funny because Nazuna should be the first person to realize this. She should be like, wait a minute, if I was the one who turned her, why don't I not remember it? I was already a vampire at that point, that means. But anyways, yeah. And then there was also that theory that Ko brought in that, oh, Kabura, you turned Nazuna into a vampire. But I didn't think about that at all because of that flashback where we saw someone who looked like Nazuna as a nurse. So that immediately went out of my head. I was like, nah, it's not possible. Because it's probably that Kabura was the patient here. That kind of thing. But anyways, yeah, so both the theories are wrong. And yeah, it's probably Nazuna's sister or someone like that who turned Kabura into a vampire, and that's why Kabura knows Nazuna and asked Ko that, oh, how is Nazuna? Like something like that. Right, that's the mystery part of today's episode. You know, and there's a lot of other things that I guess you could like see. For example, I'm assuming, not assuming, but it's pretty obvious by the end, that room that was completely like, like blocked off, that was supposed to be Kabura's room. That's why there was that picture over there. Another thing is the chair that she's sitting in. Like, I was thinking there must be some kind of a significant reason that chair is squeaking so much, because you can see when she was sitting in that chair, Kabura I'm talking about, she was like moving like this and it was like squeaking so weirdly and loudly. I was like, what the hell is going on? Then I was thinking that this chair must be old. If it is old, why have they not replaced it? It's probably because it's part of like Kabura's memories, something that she cherishes. Why would she cherish a chair? Maybe because it's related to the person who turned her into a vampire. And there you go, that's exactly it. If you notice, you'll see this. The chair that Haru was sitting in was that exact chair. So she kept that. Now, if you think about it, I'm assuming that chair is like holds a significant amount of memories for her. It's very precious to her. The fact that she keeps it with herself is kind of crazy because it's literally supposed to be her biggest weakness, right? Yeah, but then okay, now that I think about it, why is she not like, because when Akun was the glasses was put on Akun was acted as if like it was like some kind of crazy, like like he reacted to it crazily. So why does the chair not make Kabura, like Kabura was pretty chill. She was sitting in that chair pretty normally. So maybe I don't know. Maybe but then why would she keep that chair then? Right? Like I was going to say maybe that's not really that much part of her memories maybe. But then if that's not that significant to her and her memories of Haru, then why did she keep it? You can see it's literally squeaking and it's like just like it's probably like a 20-year-old chair. Why is it still there if it's not really sentimental to her? And if it is sentimental and holds a lot of memories to her, why is she not getting affected by it? Let's wait and see. Maybe we'll get the answers to our question. Another thing we got to know in today's episode is that the blood, she kept a few of her blood, like, before she became vampires here. And the reason why she did that is because I think she doesn't want to forget. Whenever she's on the verge of forgetting her memories as a human, she drinks that blood. And as she said, like, that's why, like, bloods have, as she mentioned, like, yeah, like, the blood for a certain person, like, can you remember, like, the emotions and everything. It can make you remember of the past and everything like that. So that's why she kept the blood before she became a human, which contains everything, all the memories and everything. Now, whenever she tries, like, she's like forgetting and anything, something like that, she drinks it probably. Like, she didn't mention her drinking it, but I am assuming she drinks it. She has so many of those blood packets in her fridge. She keeps that. She drinks it whenever she's like at the verge of forgetting, I think, so that she doesn't forget. She also gave it to Nazuna so that Nazuna remembers a little bit or get to know about that feeling that that blood has. Why does she do that? That's the question. Why does she do that? Why does she, like drink the blood to keep her from forgetting? It's probably because Haru's not alive anymore. And if she forgets Haru, it's done. Nobody will remember her. Probably. Like, the existence of Haru will probably just disappear from the world. He's the only one that remembers her. Because Nazuna doesn't remember, as you can see. I don't know, like, if there's anyone in Nazuna's family who is still alive or what's going on. Probably not. So my assumption is the only person who probably remembers Haru here in this world is her, or like something like that. Maybe that's why she's like, I cannot let myself forget her, and that's why she drinks the blood whenever she forgets it, or she's on the verge of forgetting it. Again, these are all assumptions I'm making. I don't know. Like, it is, there is a high possibility that Haru's not alive anymore. Like, I'm pretty confident about that, but I don't know if that's the reason why she drinks the blood, to keep her remembering. Like, yeah, but that's my theory. I think that is why she has kept so many blood, and she's like keeps drinking it to remember it, to remember it. Right. But yeah, like I think like most of the mystery about Kabura has come to light in today's episode. But yeah, there's a lot of things that we still don't know about Nazuna, and there's definitely some kind of connection of Nazuna to this. So that's why I'm saying, if there is no hard and fast rule that you have to be romantically liking the other person to become a vampire, it can be any type of love. It can be a familial love as well. Then there's a high possibility that Haru is the one who turned Nazuna into a vampire. Because she's a sister. Surely Nazuna loved her sister. But like I said, that will only make sense if there's no hard and fast rule that you have to be romantically liking the other person. But like I said, they haven't really mentioned anything about that. At least they haven't mentioned anything about that now. Or maybe they have, I've forgotten in season 1. I don't know. But yeah, so for now, at least I'm going to keep that in my head. Yeah, because obviously the biggest mystery here is that we have to figure out little by little who's the one who turned Nazuna into a vampire and Nazuna's past. These are the two things that Ko wants to figure out, and Nazuna also wants to figure out. So, that's why I'm thinking this is a possible theory that Haru turned Nazuna into a vampire only if there's no hard and fast rule that you have to be romantically liking the other person. There you go. Anyways, like I said, I'll keep that in at the corner of my head, because there's a big possibility that's not what happened. Maybe it was someone else who turned Nazuna into a vampire. Who knows? But I'll keep that theory at the corner of my mind. Right. Now, okay, that was the mystery part of today's episode. Now let me talk about this episode normally, the stuff that we saw in today's episode. So first and foremost, Kabura's story. So Kabura's story, as you can see, Kabura is very sickly. She used to always visit the hospital and everything. Her friends are kind of used to it. So they as you can see, she told Haru that, oh, my friends, they go on their own now. And they said that when they come back, they'll go with me. Stuff like that. And then Haru kind of talking to her, making her more confident. Obviously she's a nurse, helping her out, helping her recover. She did all of that, and after she became fit again, okay, but temporarily fit, she goes to hang out with her friends. And here you can see how her friends have, obviously they have their own lives, they have their own thing. This is the thing. I feel like everything was okay up until a certain point where I couldn't really forgive her friends. I was okay, or like obviously the whole situation was a bit weird and awkward when they were like, "Oh yeah, we invited these college friends who you literally have no idea about, and they're obviously boys." And like, and like, yeah, and the fact that we didn't even bother to tell you. No, that whole section was a bit weird. Obviously, I was like, "What the hell?" Like, you could have at least told her that, "Oh, you know what? By the way, we're calling these guys." You know, so that was weird, obviously, but I still didn't think that much about it up until a certain point where I was like, nah, man, their friends are a bit, like, yeah. Which was that section when Kabura went to the washroom. They were like saying stuff like, oh, like, we should not include Kabura from the here we go. I wasn't sure if I should invite her at all today. Uh, and then they were like, can you blame me? If you hang out with her, it's like looking after a sick person. This section. This section was absolutely horrible. I was like, what? Why? Okay, another thing. I don't understand one thing. If they are genuinely they don't want to hang out with her, why the hell are they even inviting her? Also, one of her friends come to visit her in the hospital. Why? Like, this is some contradictory, like, what is this? I don't understand this. Like, if you're saying stuff like, oh, like, bringing her in with us is like looking after a sick person, just don't invite her. Like obviously, like, I'm like, it wouldn't be any type of trouble if they literally said that, oh, you know what, like, yeah, like, let us go there alone. If they like, they could genuinely be frank with her and tell her that, oh yeah, like, like, it's not working out, I think, like, yeah, like, yeah, obviously it would be pretty bad, it would be pretty cruel towards her, but at least you're not like stringing her around and talking behind her back, which is even worse than that. Like, what the hell is this? I genuinely, I like, it really surprised me when in the later scene you can see that one of her friends comes and visits her to the hospital, and I'm like, what's happening? You guys were literally saying that, oh, like we don't want to hang out with her, or it's weird calling her in because, and then you're also coming to the hospital and telling her that, oh, next time let's go over there. What type of behavior is this? I genuinely don't understand what the hell was going on with her friends, like, minds. Like, is this some kind of a like, oh, like, doing this makes me feel better about myself? Is this what is going on here? I think so. Otherwise, like, what they're doing are extremely contradictory. Like, it's probably that they're probably like, oh yeah, you know what, look at us, like, we are so great that we are taking care of our friend, like that kind of thing. It's like a, like a, like a narcissistic, like a thing where they're like basically using Kabura as a way to feel better about themselves. They're like, oh yeah, you see, like, that's our friend, and she, like, but we take care of her so much, like that kind of thing. It's probably like just like a narcissistic thing where they, by inviting Kabura and taking care of her and everything, they feel better about themselves. Probably shows off to her friends like, oh, look at this, how good we are, how good people we are. Maybe it's that. Otherwise, it makes no sense. Like, because they're literally doing contradictory things. They're saying behind her back that, oh yeah, like I don't know, I didn't want to call her, like, bringing her makes me feel as if we're looking after a sick person. And then next scene we see them coming to the hospital and telling her that, oh yeah, you know what, next time let's go there, let's go over there. What type of behavior is this? Yeah, so it's definitely that. I'm assuming it's like a narcissistic, like, like, boosting your self ego kind of thing, like, oh, look how great we are, that kind of thing. But yeah, good thing in the end Kabura was like like she was very frank with them in the end, like, and I guess it's probably because Haru literally told her a few moments ago that you are someone who always keeps the things to yourself, you know so try to be open, try to tell what you actually feel, and after hearing that, that's why she probably decided to tell her friend that, you can see she literally says here, like, Takizawa-chan, look, um like, bathing is more taxing though you might think, so I don't want to go to the hot springs. It's too much of a risk. Skiing, I've never gone, I'm sick now, obviously. Yeah, she also said like, oh, we're in the same class, but I guess you don't remember. Is beer really that good? You all know so much, so more than me. God damn, this part is so the whole like screeching noise is like, ugh. And then she says like, none of you know anything about me. So I'm guessing she directly said that to her, and Takizawa probably left after that. She was like, you know what? Yeah, this is not it. Like, come on, like, and the thing is, like, she came here to obviously like she was like, oh, I'm sorry for doing that, and then she's like, oh, next time let's go over there, let's hang out again, let's go to the hot springs, let's go to skiing and everything. And like, you can see Kabura was saying multiple times, but I don't want to go there. And she's like, oh no, it's fine, like, and after a bit, everything will be okay. and and Kabura's like, bruh, like, you see, I'm sick, you know I'm sick. You think I can go skiing? Like, what is wrong with you? It takes me so much to like go from one place to another. You think I can go like frolicking around in the mountains and ski with you guys? Are you out of your mind or something? Like, what are you on about? Like, so yeah, it is pretty narcissistic. Like, they were like, she came here to meet with her, but she was just talking about herself and what they want to do, this and that. So yeah, it is definitely that kind of thing, like a narcissistic, like, pat in the back, like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm taking care of my sick friend, how great I am, that kind of thing. That was her friends, basically. um you know so yeah. Now, that was that about her friends. Let's talk about Haru. Haru, obviously, you can see there were multiple times into this episode, up until the very end, there were multiple sections where they hinted that Haru's a vampire. For example, when she goes and like hugs Kabura, there was a section where you can see like her, like her fangs. When she was talking as well, you can see her canines were like a lot larger. Her whole demeanor of like, that style, like, it like it really kind of made me think like, oh yeah, she's a vampire, definitely. And so, but the thing is, up until the very end, she didn't do anything. Obviously, she was a vampire, but she just hung out with Kabura, gave her like, advice, like, tried to help her out, got angry on her behalf as well against her friends, all that stuff. It is only at the end when, like, Haru was like at the rooftop smoking, and that Kabura comes in and she's like, I hate everyone. Like, my parents, my school, my friends, like, everyone, like, they, like, I don't like them. And and when she was like saying all of these things, like, even here you can see in Kabura, Haru's like, tell me, like, what do you want to tell me, you can tell me. And it is only when Kabura, like, I guess you could say, kind of confesses to her, that Haru asks that, do you want to be fit, do you want to be healthy, do you want to run? And you know and the moon is like red and everything, and she goes and like she asks her, she goes to her, and then Kabura says like, I yeah, like, obviously I'm pretty sure like Kabura didn't realize that she was a vampire up until when she was bit, but she was pretty okay with it. She was like, yeah. And she, as soon as she, like, in a way you could say, she was like, gave her permission, probably, she bit her. And it was instantaneous, because like, Kabura already loved her, so it was instantaneous. Like, she literally became a vampire immediately, because that feeling already existed in her. Yeah, and she became a vampire, she became free, she became floating, she started floating in the sky. So there you go. So that was like Haru. So yeah, there you go, that was that. Like, she didn't really try to make her a vampire or anything like that. She just waited up until the very end, and when Kabura was like, nah man, it's not working anymore, she helped her out over there. um and yeah, and this is probably where the rumors come from, like a lady like floating in the window, Wait, Nazuna said something like that, right? It was probably Kabura. Like, I don't know how Nazuna saw this ghost lady floating in the window, but it might have been Kabura. And now, from like the looks of it, I'm assuming after becoming a vampire, Kabura became a nurse over here, right? Because she's a practicing nurse here, right? But like I said, like we still don't know what happened to Haru because Haru we don't see her. And from the looks of it, I'm assuming there's a possibility Haru probably died or something happened to her. That's why Kabura looks so sad always. Um, yeah, but I'm assuming that's probably why Kabura took on the nurse's role here. Anyways, there's still a lot of things that hasn't really been addressed or like hasn't really been talked about. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. You know, like what's going on. Like there's like at least like what can I say? Like this episode really like went into the whole mystery part. Like oh, who's Nazuna? What's like like her connection to like these characters. Who's Kabura? What's her connection to Nazuna? Like they still haven't revealed that that was Kabura's sister. Sorry, that was Nazuna's sister or mother or something like that. But it is pretty damn obvious that is someone related to Nazuna. Like, come on. So yeah, so that's basically the whole. So like we are like delving into the mystery part now, and okay, so this also makes me think that like so here's the thing. Let me think about this just a minute. Nazuna said that now Nazuna is probably like a 35 to 40-year-old lady. You know, in human years, that's probably her age. Looking at her, it seems like she became a vampire when she was maybe like 18, 19, or 20 years old. Because that's looking at Nazuna, that is how old she feels like. And I'm assuming when someone becomes a vampire, their time stops. They don't age anymore from that point onwards. So if you become a vampire at age 20, you will look age 20 throughout the rest of your life, as a vampire. I'm assuming, if that's the case, then what I'm trying to think here is I'm trying to figure out how old Anko is. Because if Anko is also 35 to 40 years old, then that would mean that Anko was probably friends with Nazuna, as children. Something like that. Because literally you can see in the opening song Nazuna sitting, Anko sitting, and they were like chatting with each other. But in the opening, I guess you can say that Anko looked a little bit younger than Nazuna. So it was probably like a 3-4 year old age gap maximum. If that's the case, then I would probably say Anko is like at her 30s, like 32, 31, maybe 33. Like that, everything would fit into place then. Because I think Nazuna's a little bit older than Anko, like human year wise, I'm saying. So, so that would mean like if Anko and Nazuna were friends, Nazuna was probably like an elder sister to her, like an elder sister kind of like a person to her. Again, like I said, everything is based on the opening. Like you can literally, there's a lot of hints in the opening that you can literally see, like where like Anko is sitting down, Nazuna's sitting down, like Anko's like laughing, Nazuna's also laughing. At that point, you can see like Nazuna looks like her usual self, like 18, 20 years. But Anko there in that scene seems like Anko's probably like maybe like 14 or 15 years old at that stage. So that would mean like there is like an age gap between them, like a 4 to 5 year old, maybe 5 is a bit too much, 3 to 4 year age gap. And if that's the case, Anko's probably like 31, 32, or 33 years old, while Nazuna's like maybe 38 now, something like that, maybe 37, 38, 39, something like that. um you know Again, these are all speculations, these are all theories that I'm thinking of, and I'm trying to figure it out, because yeah, these will all be important little by little because everything is connected to Nazuna's past. But yeah, like I said, we got to see this person Haru, Nanakusa Haru. So hopefully, from here onwards, we get delve more and more into the stories of like Nazuna and everything. Okay, so if that's the case, that would mean um, Kabura's way older than Nazuna. So Kabura is probably at her 60s now in human age, I would say. Right? Because if Nazuna's like 38, 39, 40, no, that's a bit too much. Not 60s. Oh, sorry, scratch that. Maybe like, there's a possibility Kabura's like 50 years, human age. 49, 50 years. Nazuna's like 39, 40 years, human age. And Anko, I'm guessing, is probably 33 or 34, something like that. Like, yeah, let me keep all of this in my mind. I might be wrong, but I'm just trying to make a mental map of the characters and what type of relationship, what type of connections they have from the little clues that we have gotten from today's episode. But yeah, there you go. That was an absolutely fantastic episode. Like, obviously it didn't have like action or stuff, but it had like it brought so much into the story, like so much information we got, and so many. This was absolutely fantastic. I really loved this episode. So yeah, let's wait and see. Okay, I didn't really talk much about the beginning part of today's episode, but the beginning part doesn't really have much to say because the beginning part was literally Ko and Nazuna like getting permission from Kabura and getting like the nurse outfit and like like an outfit, and them going to that room, and or not going to that room, or standing in front of that room, Ko going to the toilet and then getting kidnapped by Kabura. And Kabura was like asking him about like like stuff. But wait, one thing I'm thinking: why was Kabura telling Ko that, oh, let me make you into a vampire? Like as she was saying, like like I want to, like when she was saying like I have a, where's that section? You know what? Just a minute. Yeah, I like to take other people's like things, so I'm going to make you mine, Yamori-kun. That this part I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why did she say that to him? Oh, I see. I think I know why she said that. Because I think after turning into a vampire, like obviously something definitely happened to Haru, and she doesn't want a repeat of that in any way or form to happen to Nazuna, and that's why she's trying to prevent Nazuna from getting an offspring, because she's probably afraid that whatever happened to Haru after that, or whatever happened to her after that, maybe something sad happened, because obviously we cannot see Haru anywhere, and so I'm assuming that she's probably dead or something. So maybe that's why she's trying to prevent Nazuna to get attached to Ko, because eventually, like she will become sad. If something happens to Ko, or vice versa. That's why she's like trying to stop that, because she herself has experienced it. She doesn't want anyone else to experience it. Maybe that's why. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, that was that part. That was the first part. I didn't really talk much about the first section. I was just talking throughout today's episode, like towards the discussion, I was just talking about the whole mystery part and a few other things. But yeah, that I just wanted to mention. Oh, another part is pretty funny. This is like, obviously this is not nothing that much important, but I really chuckled at the part where Nazuna was explaining NTR to Nazuna was explaining NTR to Ko. Now, people probably, there's a lot of people who probably won't get the whole joke about NTR, but obviously NTR, short form of Netorare, which is like where someone like I love how Nazuna goes so much into detail here. You know what? Let me read what Nazuna said. Okay, I was all ready to beat her up and say I'm not into that NTR crap too. And Cossack, is NTR that common a term? Not really, I would say NTR is a common term for people who are degenerates. So people who watch a lot of, like, I'm not going to say that word because, YouTube auto flags videos. I know that, the 18 plus, like, like the off brand stuff, people who watch that, and people who like read and play erogames, visual novels. NTR is a common term for that. I'm someone who has played a lot of visual novels, a lot of erogames, so I do know the whole NTR. NTR term is pretty common in that sense. And I love how Nazuna goes so much into detail here. Like, she says something like this part. With that trope, whether the cuckold realizes or not is a real important. So I don't have a preference per se, but I want a story to lay out its concept early on, and it had better not subvert the premise. Right. So to go more detail into this, yeah, there are different types of NTR, and this is something that a lot of people probably don't know. But this goes into more, like, you'll understand more about this if you play a lot of, like, visual novels and erogames. So there's one type of NTR where the person who's getting cucked realizes this and keeps quiet or doesn't let the other person know. you know there's this other part where the person who's getting cut knows about that fact. The person, his partner, also knows about that fact, and it's like a common knowledge. And and then obviously there's the other one where I guess the one who's getting cut has no idea about it. So there's like 3 to 4 like types. Each has like a, like, NTR type A, NTR type B, and NTR type C, something like that, I think. Yeah, these are actual things. Like, these are like, so basically that's what Nazuna was talking about here. She has some crazy knowledge about this. I was surprised she started talking about, like, the types. I'm like, bro, chill. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh my god, yeah. Okay, so yeah, there you go. That's basically the whole section. That was pretty funny when she starts talking about all of that. Oh my god. Um, yeah. So I feel like a lot of people who hasn't played like visual novels and stuff will probably, this part will probably, they won't understand this. But that is literally what Nazuna was trying to do here. Like, you obviously, like, Nazuna plays a lot of visual novels, erogames, fighting games. Like, she does all of that. So she has a lot of knowledge about this. So she was trying to make Ko understand about it. But Ko is like, what the hell? Oh boy. But yeah, so there you go. That part was pretty funny. All right, and yeah, and there you go. That was that part. I just wanted to mention that because that part was pretty funny. And yeah, and there you go. That was today's episode. That was episode number 4 of Call of the Night season 2. Like I said, really good episode. These 3 episodes have been really good. I'm really enjoying this. Season 1, obviously, they're kind of, but it's obviously very chill and everything. It looked like a more of a slice of life. But now I think we're getting into like the juicy part, like whatever mystery and suspense and all that stuff. We're getting more into that. So yeah, this episode was a really good episode. It's established a lot of new information which we had no idea about, and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to where this goes from here. So that is it. Thank you for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. That is it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode of Call of the Night. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.